program may contain language of an adult nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of alltalkradio.net.
Even the government agrees.
He's a dangerous man!
Niggas is decaf, I stick him for the cream.
Hey, yo, check this out. This is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey, yo, you better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another edition of the Dante's Boxing Nation Show. I am your host, Dante. As always, shouts out nationboxing.com, boxingtalk.com. Go ahead and check out those websites, get all your news and everything. First things first, I want to go ahead and introduce my man in the building, my co-host, Norton Radical. What it is?
It's good, bro, because it only takes one time.
There it goes. It only takes one time.
Already.
We getting to that. All right, and on the phone, let me go ahead and introduce my correspondents. These two cats, they have some of the best YouTube channels out there. My man, Boxing Ego, is in the building. What's going on, man?
What's up? I'm in the building, ready to get it going.
Okay. And my man, AK, A-Rap King's in the building. What's up, man?
What's up?
All right, now I got a real special guest for you guys today. Let me introduce this man right here. This man right here is undefeated. He's going to be fighting on March 7th against Robert the Ghost Guerrero. Keith, one time, Thurman is in the building. What's going on, Keith Thurman?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
All right, man.
Brother.
Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show. We got a lot to talk about. First thing first, Keith, I want to say, man, congrats, man. Congrats on landing the big fight. This is the biggest fight of your career. I mean, how did you feel, man, when you got the phone call that it was a green light?
I was just happy, man. You know, I mean, no more playing around. You know, no more Julio Diaz's, no more Bundus. You know, we finally got a top 10 fighter, man. I've been working hard, staying on my grind, calling out everybody. And finally we were able to make a fight happen that excites me, man. I know a lot of the fans are excited, and it's truly a great fight. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Now, I also want to ask you, man, were you a little surprised because Robert is already starting to talk a lot of mess? Now, what trips me out is he actually rejected the fight before, but now he went from rejecting the fight to now saying that, you know, I challenge Keith Thurman to get in the ring and not run. I mean, what did you think about that? Did that surprise you, Keith?
You know, I mean, he wants me to fight his fight and up his possibilities of winning. But it's funny because, you know, if I run, he has a better chance of surviving. If I stand there and bang, you know, I mean, he's going to get the pain, man. I've heard everybody that my hands have touched, man. It's no lies, no exaggeration. It's only the truth. So, you know, he can say what he wants to say, man, and he should say something. He's a fighter, you know. He should have somewhat some pride within him, you know. So I'm glad to see him running his mouth. That means that he's still young, healthy, and, you know, full of enthusiasm. But at the end of the day, you know, it's the skills that pays the bills, man. And I'm going to show him everything that we got March 7th.
Okay. And now, you know, when I first heard this great news, me personally, I'm going to be honest, you know, I was thinking this was a great fight for you, but I looked at it as, you know, he's going to dominate Robert Ghost Guerrero. That's what I was personally thinking, but I was surprised when I started interviewing, you know, different fighters and trainers, how close they actually had this fight. Matter of fact, I want you to hear this clip, Keith, when I interviewed Jeff Mayweather. This is what he had to say on this fight. Check this clip out. Let's start with Robert the Ghost Guerrero versus Keith one-time Thurman.
Well, that's kind of a pick'em fight, but I mean, I lean toward Guerrero because Guerrero's been in with much better fighters. I mean, Keith Thurman is basically he's been media made because I mean, like I said, his competition has been, you know, I mean, they haven't been horrible, but they haven't been, you know, to the level that Guerrero's on. So I think that. With that being said, I mean, Guerrero is not a shy fighter. He's still young. He's still in his prime, I think. And I think that he'll win the fight.
So you think Keith Thurman won't be able to deal with his pressure, or you just You think Guerrero's a better boxer or a better pressure fighter? What?
No, I just think that he's a better fighter.
Overall.
Don't get me wrong. Like I said, Keith Thurman in his last fight looked horrible.
You thought so?
I thought so.
So there it is, man. Give me your thoughts on that, Keith.
It was hard to hear, man, but I think I know the clip. I think I actually seen it on YouTube. So
okay.
So
basically, long story short, he picked Guerrero. He was talking about he wasn't really impressed with the Bundu performance, and he thinks Guerrero's a better fighter. So what's your thoughts on that?
I love how people were unimpressed with my 12-round shutout. It's just Floyd's done it his whole career. And when I do it, it's so unimpressive, So, it's politics, man. He ain't supposed to amp me up.
Yeah.
He ain't supposed to amp me up. He ain't supposed to be on my bandwagon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going for the crown, regardless if I have to go through Mayweather or not. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be here for 10 years. He ain't gonna be there for 10 years. Their legacy is over. Mine's just beginning. So, I don't need his respect. I believe sometime in the video he said that if I win this fight, that I'll somewhat have his respect, But that's all, man. He's not the only one. There's many people in the world of boxing that they need to see it to believe it, It's like Santa Claus. I ain't never met no Santa Claus. I ain't going to believe in no Santa Claus, I live in Florida. There's no chimneys. You know what I'm saying? So, they say they want you to achieve something great before they even say that, yeah, he's decent. He's got nice hands. You know what I'm saying? They want you to do something. They just really want you to pass the test, man. But I tell everybody, I've been saying it since the beginning. I'm the test. It's called the Keith Thurman test. Ain't nobody passed this boy yet. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. I'm young. I'm grinding hard. And he's not the first. He's not the last that's going to have that opinion. And even if I take care of Guerrero in 2 rounds, there's people that can say, what has he really done? Guerrero's not a big welterweight. What has he really done? It's boxing, man. You gotta know how to take the blows inside the ring and outside the ring.
So, hey Keith, let me ask you, because you just made an interesting statement. You said that Floyd has basically made a career. Mayweather's basically made a career out of 12-round shutouts, and like you said, a large portion of the the boxing viewers will view it as a masterpiece. And you go out and you do it against Bundu, and everybody says it's boring. But I partly in I think people have come to expect fireworks from you because of your KO reputation and your KO ability. So as definitely a classic boxer puncher, which you are, what do you see as far as like when people say, oh, this style is more exciting than another style? Because again, sometimes we can watch a boxing, a boxing exposition, a master class of boxing being put on, and that's exciting to some fans. But then some fans, other portions again of the boxing viewing public, they want to see the knockout. So how do you kind of juggle that, with being exciting, or you know what I mean, or going in there
and outboxing?
Yeah, exactly. Going in there as opposed to going in there and displaying your boxing ability and your boxing IQ, your ring IQ.
First off, didn't he get dropped in the first round?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
The power was there. I thought to myself after the first knockdown, you either rush him and go for the TKO right now, or you play around, put on a show, and get him later. I could see that his game plan changed in the later rounds. By the 5th round, I realized, man, you got to work for this knockout.
Mm-hmm.
And you're already shutting him out. So there's a choice. And as a fighter, as the performer on live national television,
yes, sir,
I made my choice. And we stuck to the shutouts. And we pitched the shutouts. It's not like, oh, every time Thurman was on the ropes, Bundu was putting hands on him.
Yeah. I mean, Keith.
We did our thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, can it just be the fans don't understand?
Exactly.
I mean, my kids box, been in the silver gloves and everything. You've been boxing all your life. Can it just be possible that fans don't understand that once you reach the top level opponents, you don't just get knockouts, because it's not just you, it's Pacquiao, it's power punchers as well, other than yourself, that when they get to a certain level of opposition, they don't get knockouts because the fighters are, a lot more skilled. Can it just be the fans just don't really understand this?
To a degree, man. The only thing that the real fans understand is what they've always understand, is that it's a brutal sport. You know what I mean? Let's go back to history. Let's go back to the age of the gladiators when they used to fight to the death. Okay? So all the fan wants is bloodshed. That's what they wanted 1,000 years ago, and that's what they want today. They want bloodshed. That's how MMA got so popular in the first place. Not because of the skills and that they execute. There's some people like the arm bar, but a lot of people like the elbows and the nose and the blood that gets spread around the ring. Okay? So that's what happens when you're in a combative sport. You have the majority of people that are tuning in, getting drunk, buying their tickets, that just want to see a fight, but they forgot that they were watching boxing.
Exactly.
Which the definition of boxing is to hit and not get hit.
Sir. But
they want to see you get hit, and hit back. That to them, that's what they paid for.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's that. Well, I can't say unfortunately. Like you said, it is a combat sport and brutal sport, but that is what the majority of the fans come to see. We got a word for them, but there is also, a select portion of the boxing population again that does really appreciate
the real sweet science fans.
You already know.
Yeah, the real sweet science fans. Then of course there's the double standards, which I'm not going to get real deep into with my man Keith on the phone. But I will just say this though: when it comes to certain fighters, they don't care if those certain fighters have great defense. But when it's a fighter that they're not always rooting for, then all of a sudden, you said you were going to be perfect. You said you was going to be this. You promised a knockout. So there's a lot of double standards in the sport as well.
I appreciate the technical aspect of the sweet science.
Yeah. Like Lomachenko is something. When he moves around the ring, he don't get knockouts. Jim Lampley is calling him Muhammad Ali. But you already know what time it is. But anyway, go ahead, guys.
For Keith.
Go ahead, Ego.
I got a question. So I know you can't give away too much of your particular game plan, but as far as Robert Guerrero, as Dante was saying, a lot of people don't really grasp the sport, and like you were saying, you get a lot of casuals. People just want to get drunk and whatnot. So against Robert Guerrero, I'm reading all kinds of comments on the page, and they're saying that he's going to come out like Berto. You're going to be Berto. What do you think? What are you expecting from Robert Guerrero? Do you think he's going to go back to how he was in the lighter division and more boxing? Or what he's been presenting against guys like Kamagai and Berto, where he's like more mauling, kind of no running. He's a warrior, all that.
At the end of the day, I expect only one thing, and that's for him to bring his best. If his best is to try to run me over, then so be it. If his best is to bring out them old skills and tactics, then so be it. If he does a little bit of both and he calls that his best, then that's great. Like I said, I expect him to bring his best, and for his best not to be good enough. That's what I expect come March 7th.
Mm-hmm. Did you see him?
And then, my bad.
Go ahead, Ego.
I was going to say, when did you get the name One Time? How did that actually come back about? And when did you discover that you had above average KOs for life power?
Well, it all ties in, I got my first knockout when I was around 13, 14 years old, and it was with 16-ounce gloves and matter of fact, it was the same day I got my second knockout. I knocked out 2 sparring partners in one session. So at that moment, I knew that I was strong and that I was stronger than most. I was continuously getting knockouts throughout the amateurs with 10-ounce gloves and headgears on at 152 pounds. And at the start of my professional career, I opened up my career with 8 consecutive first-round KOs. And for the whole first year, I didn't want to brand myself. I said, you should earn a nickname. You should figure out what your nickname is going to be. After first consecutive 8-round knockouts, I remember the story that my father told me, how he used to do some backyard boxing similar to like Kimbo Slice. They used to wrap T-shirts around their hands and go at it. That was those were their wraps, their hand wraps or their gloves, whatever you want to call it. And he was putting people down to the body, and one of his homeboys was calling him one time. You know, my dad wrestled in high school and wrestled somewhat in college, and boxing wasn't really his thing. Plus, by the time I heard this story, I'm his oldest son, and he has 3 other children, so he ain't one-timing nobody anytime soon. So I figured after my first year of 8 consecutive knockouts, I'm already a junior from those who don't know, because they normally don't announce it. I never really written it in, but I am Keith Thurman Jr. I figured I might as well carry one more name of my father's, which is One Time. So I am Keith One Time Thurman. That's how it came about.
Nice. Now, I want to ask you, Keith, how do you see this fight playing out? I mean, you see this as a knockout, an early knockout, a late stoppage. How do you see the fight playing out?
You know, I mean, Bundu got tested early. You know, I don't see why Guerrero won't either. You know, Quintana went down early. Julio Diaz went down early. You know, a lot of people can take the power, especially when they walk into it. So, you know, I see a potential knockdown. I really do within the first 4. You know,
okay.
It could be an early wrap up within the first 4. But you know, I also see the long haul. I see the holding. I see the clinching. You know, I see everything. You know, I just mentally prepare for everything. You know, that way anything that happens, it's not really a surprise. It's not, oh, we didn't expect that one. You know, there ain't no rabbits coming out of the hat. You know, we already know the rabbit's in the hat. You know, bring it out if you want. You know what I'm saying? We're prepared. So I just see a good fight, man. Hopefully one that goes a few rounds, has its moments, is entertaining, and I would love for it to end in a KO fashion. You know, I've gone through many different things in my career now, but one thing that I have not done is had a fighter go the distance with me, and then my next fight, the fighter goes the distance with me. So if Guerrero actually goes all 12 rounds, that will be the first time that I've done back-to-back, you know, lack of KO or lack of TKO.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I mean, I want to hurt this dude, you know. I want to put on a great fight, a great performance. I'm excited about being on NBC. You know, I'm excited of the new fans that I'm going to be able to capture come March 7th. And we're just, you know, we're looking to rep our name, baby. Keith One Time Thurman. We're going in there to hurt the ghost.
No doubt. Keith, that's funny. That, again, that was right the question I was going to ask about fighting with on Premiere, the inauguration of the series, Premiere Championship Boxing, and being on NBC. How do you feel about that? Talk about, like, historical relevance, because as we said before, now you got boxing on regular TV, just like Major League Baseball and NBA. So, you know,
at a high level too.
I mean, extremely high level. We're talking about, you know, champions, you know, not Friday night fights, nothing against that, of course. But talk about that and Al Heyman's impact on the sport of boxing now. You know, he has a lot of his share of critics also. But yeah, talk about that. Fighting on NBC, broadcast TV, and
in the main event.
Yeah, and Al Heyman and the things that's going on and the opportunities presenting themselves.
You know, boxing is just coming back, man. It's coming back full circle, as we would say. It was on NBC back in the day. I believe it might have been on Fox. All that was before my time. I'm only 26 years old, so I don't know the full history. I just know that boxing was on normal TV for many people to see, and that back in the day, everybody knew who the world champion was. In the welterweight division, the middleweight division, the heavyweight division. You could walk a block and ask them who's the champion of the world, and you'd have 6 people answering the same question. And ever since then, they switched over to HBO. HBO was a new network. It was a premier network, and they wanted to make it exciting, so they adapted boxing, which was good at the beginning. But in the long run, we see what it has done to the sport. It has taken away viewership. So Al Heyman, being the educated man that he is, just understands the sport better than a lot of people. And he's bringing it back to its roots. Like I said, boxing is coming back full circle, man. It's coming back prime time. It's coming back to the American people. And, I say American people, but the American people is of mixed races. And boxing is a beautiful sport of mixed races. So the American people get to see the American heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder. They get to see the American welterweight champion, Keith Thurman, and eventually, who knows? They might get to see me and Kell Brook go at it,
Nice.
European champion. You have Puerto Rican champions, Mexican champions. It's just spectacular, man. It really is.
Nice.
Al Heyman is a truly wise man. He doesn't worry about what the critics say. He cares a lot about the sport, and he's bringing it back, man. This is just the beginning, I'm kicking off the show. You might as well call it the kickoff, baby. We haven't even seen the play made yet. We're just kicking it off. Let's have a conversation this time next year and see where boxing is, baby, because I guarantee you it's going to be back. It's going to be on the tip of tongues across the nation in every bar, because that was my argument to a lot of people. You go to your local pub and you sit down, you crack open a beer, and you watch what kind of sports they talk about. Boxing is the least of the sports talked about in America. But not this time next year, baby. We're back in action. You're going to see world-class fighters, world champions. You're going to see us on our grind. You're going to see our charisma, our attitudes, our flair, the ups and downs. You know how they do nowadays with that little insider stuff. You get to see the family, a little bit of the whole lifestyle,
All
man.
access, baby.
Boxing's a beautiful sport, just like any of the other sports that we watch here in America. Athletes are something to admire because they strive for greatness. And that's one thing I'll be doing March 7th.
No doubt. You're going to be a part of history. Now, let me ask you this, Keith. We sat down with Oscar De La Hoya. We did a round table, and I think I brought your name up, and he started praising you right away. He started really, really praising you, how good, you were, and so on and so forth. And I remember another reporter, he said, yeah, maybe he'll be the next Golovkin.
Yeah, he could become the next Golovkin, couldn't he? Well, I hope not. I hope not. That's it.
Oscar, you said you hope Keith Thurman is not the next Golovkin, so I have to ask you, who do you think is better out of the two, Thurman or Golovkin?
Thurman.
Okay.
It's better? Yeah, Thurman.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Thurman is... See, one thing about Golovkin, he's tough. He's a strong fighter. When Canelo was sparring with him up in Big Bear, Canelo mentioned, look, he's strong. He's very strong. It's, a lot of fighters are strong. And there's ways of beating strong fighters. But one thing about Keith Thurman is that he knows how to move. He lateral, uses combinations. He thinks in the ring. He's like, Golovkin is a fighter who has to beat you with his power. He has to. He can't beat you with with moving side to side or going back. See, one thing about Golovkin is that I learned because I've studied him is that if he moves back, he can't fight.
And Oscar shook his head and said, I hope not. I hope not. And, people chuckled. And I said, elaborate on that, Oscar. What do you mean by that? Who would you say is better? And he said, Keith Thurman, by far is, much better than Golovkin. And he started criticizing Golovkin. He only fights one way. When Keith Thurman is versatile, he could do many different things in the ring. So I want to tie that in with the fight we just seen this weekend. How do you rate Gennady Golovkin? Is he overrated? Is he underrated? And what did you think about his performance against Martin Murray?
He did what he was supposed to do. He does exactly what he's supposed to do all the time. It's not a bad thing to be one-dimensional when that dimension is hard for people to beat. Triple G is a threat to anybody. That's what I tell people all the time. To me, he's not just a puncher. He's an educated puncher. An educated puncher is far more of a threat than just a puncher. People talk about how Mike Tyson was one of the best ever. But, in reality, Mike Tyson got upsetted by many people that were just educated boxers. And the reason being was because he was a pure puncher. He wasn't an educated puncher. He had his peekaboo style. He rolled his head. He gave you a little bit of movement, but his feet were very flat. Okay. And plus, throughout his first 20-something fights up until his title shot, when he fought for the first championship of the world, that champion might have been the actual first real fighter he ever beat. Till then, they were grabbing people off the streets for Mike Tyson. They were just, the heavyweight division is one of the easiest divisions to cherry pick your way through. There's a lot of fighters who don't train hard. I always say heavyweights don't have to make weight, and that's one of the downfalls of the heavyweight division. But getting back to Triple G, I like the boy. I do believe that we are somewhat similar. We both still have a lot to prove, and people want us to prove it. They want us to prove it. So only time will tell, with a fighter like him. But I do think that he's the educated puncher and that he is a big threat. Does that mean he's unstoppable? Does it mean that he's unbeatable? No, it doesn't. It just means that he's a big threat. Obviously, the boy has power. So, I tell people all the time, power is a threat in itself. How's a nuclear bomb not one of the most dangerous things we got on this planet? You know what I'm saying? Power is power. You can't stop power. The only thing you can do is avoid it and, not trade with it. And that's it, man. So, someone's going to have to outsmart him, outclass him. And, the typical enemy to power is speed. So he's going to have to fight a very crafty speed fighter, not one that's just fast with their hands, but fast on their feet. They're going to need to get away from him and, play with him and clown him. I don't know the 160 division that well right now. I don't know who's out there that can do it. So, till the boy gets beat, man, I give him his props. I just ain't going to I'm not going to toot his horn too hard. I think Max is on it, heavy, when he criticizes a whole lot of other fighters. But it is what it is, man. Triple G is a nice kid. He works hard. He wins. He wins in exciting fashion. It is what it is, man. He is one of the best fighters in the world at 160 pounds, and you got to give it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna ask you. This will be my last question. But I want to ask you about the Andrade, Demetrius Andrade. You know him very well. You guys fought in the in the amateurs. Now, Demetrius Andrade, he's calling out Canelo right now. We already know Demetrius Andrade. He's the champion at 154. He's offering Canelo, a shot at his title, but Canelo prefers to fight James Kirkland, and that was Andrade's frustration. He was like, why would you want to fight a guy who doesn't have a belt, who's been off for a year, when you could fight me, the champion? What's your assessment on that? Do you think Canelo should fight the champion or go his own route? What do you think?
this is what we call a little bit of boxing politics. Does Canelo currently hold on to a belt? Yes or no? I'm not informed right now.
He doesn't have one right now. He doesn't have a belt at all right now.
Then if you're offering him the fight now, why wouldn't you offer him the fight later? You know, Canelo is the kind of fighter that doesn't need a belt. His name holds weight. You know, Canelo is in a very pristine and very, you know, he's in a precious situation with his marquee value and, you know, all that he's accomplished and his incredible fan base at a young age. You know what I'm saying?
What would you do in his shoes, though? I mean, if it were you in his shoes right now, Demetrius Andrade giving you a shot at the title, you don't have a belt, what would you do in that situation?
It depends, you know. I would probably do what he's doing, listen to the team, and you know, like I said, he's in a special situation. If the champ is offering him a fight now, why wouldn't he offer him a fight later? If he wants to go and fight Kirkland and make some money and put it in the bank before going after a more talented, a more skilled, you know, taller, lankier southpaw, you know, we saw what happened with Austin Trout. Austin Trout was on the verge of winning the fight. He just didn't do what it takes to win the fight. And I believe Demetrius Andrade has more skills. You know, I fought him several times in the amateurs. You know, has more skills, better boxing IQ, and very fast hands. Look what Laura did. Laura was on the verge of outboxing Canelo, you know, but once again he fell short. So, you know, I believe the people that are behind Canelo know what to expect from Andrade. And like I said, man, why not put the fight together that is going to give your fighter more confidence, going to be entertaining, and put money in the bank before you go after the champ, you know? And some people believe that Andrade's boxing style is not that entertaining, and maybe that's not the show that they want to put on right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, so you believe, though, that's not the safe financial route right now, though, for Canelo. You saying build your money up, and if you're going to take a risk, get your money, you know, build up in your bank account first, and then you take that risk. Is that pretty much what you're saying?
Pretty much, man. You know, I mean, and then plus by creating an exciting fight and winning in a great fashion, you know, that's going to up his marquee value when he does go to fight the champion. You know, so the model when it comes to the business aspect of the sport is, why do something today when you can do it tomorrow for more money? You know, especially when there's not a rush. Demetrius is frustrated. Canelo's not frustrated. You know, Canelo knows what's happening to himself and his career, and he feels comfortable with the fight that he has accepted. You know, Andrade wants to make a statement as champion. He's begging for a fight, just like I've begged for fights. Come on, fight me, fight me, fight me, fight me. You know, I'm still, you know, I begged for a long time for this fight. You know, so, you know, and I can guarantee you that if we would have fought last year, we both would have fought the same fight for less money. So, am I upset that I didn't get the fight? I mean, at the time I was disappointed, but at this time I'm grateful that the fight is happening, and that, you know, he's coming off of a victory, I'm coming off of a victory, and we're both worth more money right now. It's better for the both of us in comparison to fighting a year ago. Even though for me, I don't fight for the money, you know what I mean? So I would have easily took care of my business. But it is what it is. I'm still going to be grateful because I understand the business behind the sport. People got to understand there's always business behind the sport.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Hey, man, well, I want to say thank you for your time. Did you want to say something real quick, Eagle?
Yeah, I had a quick question. Not looking past your current opponent, Robert Guerrero, wish you good luck. If, in fact, you get past him, would you be interested in a Khan fight or a Kell Brook fight? Would you be willing to actually go to the UK to make something like that happen?
I would be willing. I don't know if I would be advised to do so. I don't know exactly, would NBC be over there? What would entice me to go over there? He just got his belt. I just got my belt. I would have loved to have fight him. I would love to fight him. Period. I definitely want Amir Khan. I would love Kell Brook. I would love to have 2 belts in my hand. But I'm 26 years old. I have options on the table. The fights that I'd like to see after this, as long as all goes as planned. You guys know how this industry works. So as long as the victory happens the way it's supposed to happen, then the names on my bucket list is Amir Khan, Kell Brook, Marcos Maidana. A random card, possibly throwing to Timothy Bradley. We gotta stay with the names. You know what I mean? We gotta stay with the names. We gotta stay with something that's gonna be intriguing for the fans. And we'll just see, man. I mean, you never know. Maybe there'll be some form of a challenger, but that's not where my heart lies. That's not where my hunger is. My hunger is at minimum, all the 4 names that I gave you.
Now you got me asking another question, Keith. You brought up Maidana. He turned down the fight. I talked to Sam Watson. Sam was telling me, he going to take the fight for sure. He's like, because I was like, well, he turned the fight down before. He's like, he going to take it for sure this time. And he still, it seems to me, he still ended up turning down the fight again. Now you're fighting against Robert Ghost Guerrero. Now, there was a lot of controversy with the gloves that Maidana had when he fought against Mayweather. Maidana wanted to use his favorite gloves. And Floyd Mayweather, didn't want him to use them because the first gloves, they looked like they had been tampered with. I want to know if Maidana said he will fight you. He said, let's just say, he said, I'll only fight you if I get to wear my favorite gloves. Would you take that fight, Keith Thurman?
Well, I mean, he can wear his favorite gloves, but they'd have to, fit in with the standard in Nevada or whatever state commission that we were fighting under. I know all the gloves that I bring in, they're pre-packaged. They've never been worn before. So as long as they can prove that they were pre-packaged, that they weren't worn before, I mean, we would have no objectives. Go ahead and wear your favorite gloves. I'm gonna wear mine too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It's just a sport, man.
Yeah.
As long as his favorite gloves don't get imported with bricks inside them, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I mean, my team is going to be over there. They're going to investigate them, and I mean, I don't know what the whole ordeal with Mayweather was. I know what they talked about, but I wasn't there backstage, man. So if the fight was to go down, we would just do the normal check like everybody does, and if they get approved, they get approved. I ain't gonna whine about them.
Yeah.
I want to say, I don't feel that Maidana has ducked me for this fight. I feel that Maidana, after the Mayweather fight, was simply taking a longer layoff than I was willing to take off. So I do believe that we possibly after this can meet up sometime later this year whenever he's willing to step back into the ring.
Nice. I really hope so. Nice. I really hope Maidana takes the fight. That'll be a great fight, Keith.
I'm looking forward to fighting a puncher, man. It's been a while, It's nice to, the last puncher I fought was another Argentina, Diego Chavez, and that was the fans know that was an entertaining fight. So I look forward to making more fights like that happen for the fans.
Okay, well, Maidana, you heard it from Keith. He has no problem with your gloves, so let's make it happen, y'all. Right after we see what happens, Keith 7th. Thurman. Yeah, Keith Thurman against Robert the Ghost Guerrero, March 7th on NBC. Don't miss it. It's going to be historic. And my man Keith Thurman, he going to put on a show. I'm sure Robert Guerrero going to put on a show as well, man. So I want to say thank you for your time, Keith Thurman. You have anything else you want to say to the fans?
I want to ask Keith a question, something real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, we don't normally congratulate fighters, before they get their win, but I just want to congratulate you for getting this big fight. It seems like a long time coming. But I want to bring up a point that Dante brought up early on. Keith, Robert Guerrero is saying that you're going to be running like you did against Bundu or whatever. But if you read between the lines, it's like he's saying, if I lose this fight, it's because he ran. You know, do you see that as that he making up excuses already?
Let's see how he loses, because he might be getting off the floor. You know.
And another thing, Robert Guerrero, he looked like he has a good chin, but he seems kind of vulnerable to the body. Floyd Mayweather hurt him to the body, even when he fought the interim guy. When he first moved up to welterweight, that do hurt him bad to the body. So is going to the body against Robert Guerrero something that you worked on in camp?
It's definitely something that we worked on, man. We got a motto, man. You hit them high and you hit them low. We test them to the chin and we test them to the body. My one-time power, it hurts you no matter where it hits you. So, I'm looking forward to him, man. The dude's got a little bit of a mouth. He talks his talk. But at the end of the day, man, I hurt people. It's what I do. And I don't think that he's going to be an exception come March 7th. He can take a punch, and many people have taken a punch. I know people that have never been knocked down until they met me. So it is what it is, man. Come March 7th, y'all can call me the Ghostbuster.
There it go. All right, you got anything else you want to say to the fans before I let you go, Keith?
Just one love, everybody, man. Thank you for all your love and support. Tune in March 7th, NBC. My motto is true. Don't blink. KOs for life. Check me out. Message me on Facebook. I know you want to be my friend. I want to be your friend too, but I'm not adding nobody because everybody wants to be added. If you want to have a chat with me, just private message me. Get at me on Twitter. The tag is Keith F. Thurman Jr. And then follow me on Instagram at Keith One Time Thurman. Once again, thank you for all your love and support. Thank you for having me on the show tonight. Y'all boys be good, man. God bless.
No doubt, man. Thanks, man. We'll see you when you come out here to Vegas, man.
No doubt.
All right, so
luck,
that was the champ right there, Keith One Time Thurman. We got a whole lot of stuff in with that one, didn't we, Norrin? Man. Anyway, let's hurry up and try to, get this 13 minutes or whatever in. Let's go ahead and talk about the big announcement, of course, man. Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao.
Wow.
May 2nd. History in the making is going down.
Wow.
But this is the first thing I want to ask everybody in the room right now, man. What should we title this event? Check out the titles I got, and y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Either we should call this The World Stops, or we should call it You Got Any Excuses, Pacquiao fans?
Hey, the latter, that how appropriate would that be with Tarver nicknaming Floyd Pretty Boy, and then he names the biggest event in boxing history also.
No doubt. That'd be dope.
With the Tarver influence.
You got any excuses, Roy? Yeah.
Any excuses tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Pack turd.
Yeah, there you go. So let me go, Ego. So tell me, man, what would you title this fight if it was up to you, man?
I got the title, boy.
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead, Ego.
Oh, I was going to say, I'll keep it simple. I'll just call it Legacy.
Legacy.
Nice.
That's dope.
Nice.
Legacy.
That's
We're
dope.
going to see who's who.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
And what about you, AK?
Well, I got two. I can't really decide right now. I say King of the Throne or Battle of the pound-for-pound kings or something like that. But King of the Throne may be the one for me.
Or Battle of the Era,
Hey,
you know.
They need to hire us.
Man, I'm saying.
You think
we be the ones promoting these fights, you know. We be the one promoting and instigating and getting it cracking, you know. If you don't believe me, ask Mr. $3 Million Man, Leo Santa Cruz. He'll tell you. We close to making that fight happen. You know. So Nora, what we gonna call it, man? Epic?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, this is epic. This is so epic. By every means necessary. No. Listen, call it the era of greatness. The era of greatness.
That's dope.
We're gonna see who is, you know.
That's dope.
The actual king of the era.
Yeah.
The greatest of their era.
I mean, this is for all the marbles right here. And once again, I tell you Manny Pacquiao fans all the time, you guys kind of, you know, put yourself in a situation where you're about to be forced to give whoever wins this fight a lot of credit, even if it's Mayweather, because you guys sat there, you argued, you said, oh, Manny Pacquiao has a better resume than Floyd Mayweather. He beat better people. You know, he the 8th division champion. He the fighter of the decade. Floyd was never the fighter of the decade. Now, all of that shit that you guys were just saying, all of that will be put on the table. You know what I'm saying? It'll all be put up. You know, it's all or nothing May 2nd. So all that credit you gave Manny Pacquiao, if Mayweather wins the fight, he takes all of that credit. That's right. He beat fight of the decade. He beat the 8-time champion or 8 division champion, and so on and so forth. And it works the other way too. You know, if Pacquiao were to beat Floyd Mayweather, he beat the fighter of this era. You know, so now let me ask you this, Ego. This is what I don't understand. I just made a video about it earlier, but how do Manny Pacquiao fans go from saying that Floyd Mayweather is a coward, he's a chicken, and then as soon as the fight is signed, now all of a sudden they are the ones that don't have any confidence in their own fighter? How do they not have confidence in their own fighter? Why are they making excuses already before the first bell even ring that this man is going to lose? Why is that, Ego?
Man, I look at it like this, and this is not to all Pacquiao fans. This is to the extremists, the ones that leave comments on
of course,
Dante,
the 75%, yeah.
And on my channel. Now, the reason is simply they didn't want the fight to happen. They were content pointing the finger and saying, Floyd, you're the bad guy, you're the villain, and you're a coward, you're a chicken, you're the P word, and that's it. That's what they wanted. They had gratification in doing that. Now that the fight is signed, and they know Judgment Day is among us for either guy, whoever wins, may the best man win. Now people are having to switch up and backtrack. But luckily for channels like myself, Boxing Ego, and Dante's Boxing Nation, we gave you our honest thoughts from the jump. So we don't really have to do anything. There is no backtracking. Like, it's just, to me, it's another day at the office.
Yeah.
I wake up, I make the same type of videos. I wasn't calling Pacquiao a bitch. I wasn't calling Mayweather a pussy. I wasn't doing that. I was giving you my honest thoughts. So, you know what I mean? People like us, we're secure. And the people who really didn't want to fight and they just want to play this Pactar Flomo game, they're the ones that are suffering right now because now shit got real.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
You said it perfect, Boxing Ego. We stayed on the same page, you know, this whole entire circle. That's why if y'all want the whole truth, it's not too many people out there speaking the truth. But y'all want the whole truth, you listen to Boxing Eagle, Dante's Boxing Nation, Arab King, and us over here holding it down at nationboxing.com radio. You know, that's how it goes down. But, yeah, like I said, man, it just doesn't make any sense to me, Norin, that they would still be making the excuses. They got the fight they wanted. Man, when I announced this fight, Norin, I seen almost no comments from the guys that were saying Floyd Mayweather is scared. Floyd's going to fight Cotto instead, and so on and so forth. It was like somebody in their family had passed away that day. I mean, what's going on with that, Norin? Shouldn't they be happy? Isn't this a celebration because Pacquiao's going to beat the hell out of Mayweather, according to them?
Yeah, well, the thing is again, is history repeats itself, obviously. So we've seen this movie before, you know. Again, it's nothing new. Floyd was scared of this guy. Floyd was scared of Mosley. He was scared to fight Canelo. And then when the fight gets made, you know, you already got the excuses, you know, the assembly line, you know what I mean, the prefabricated conveyor belt, you know, rolling out the excuses, you know what I mean, already. So, you know, they, like, this is, again, they, just like Ego said, to paraphrase, they were content in maligning Floyd Mayweather. The intent was never to have the fight. The intent was, you know what I mean, to discredit the guy.
Discredit
you know
the
what I mean?
guy.
And then, you know, you got to look like, you know, he was the total initiator, you know, of the, you know, of getting the final results that supposedly everybody wanted. You know what I mean? He was the one that, you know, came to the game, approached them, went to the hotel room, made the phone calls. You know, again, so he totally just, you know, call him the dream shatterer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just, you know, totally shattered the whole illusion. You know what I mean? The whole house of cards.
The whole
you know
illusion.
What I mean? Yeah, exactly. You already know.
Shattered the illusion.
Actually, he did it. He did it 5 years ago with the random blood testing in the first place. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's why we had to wait 5 or 6 years. But now, you know, it's like I said, you know, it's it said Judgment Day.
It's
You know what I'm
Judgment
saying?
Day. Roy Jones said
Countdown.
Roy Jones said there's no more excuses. Oscar De La Hoya said if this fight gets made, there are no more excuses. So as always, there's always a disconnect with the pros and the very knowledgeable Sweet and Science fans as opposed to the decafs. There, I said it.
And Dante, did you notice how when Floyd last year, he did that one random interview and he says, I got a surprise for y'all. I got a surprise for you in May. Stay tuned. Everybody said it was not Pacquiao. It was going to be something stupid.
Yeah.
And guess what his surprise for May was? Pacquiao.
Exactly.
So again, people that were doubtful and making like heinous videos regarding it, now they have to backtrack because they made videos before the facts were out saying, "Oh, he's ducking," and we didn't have anything to go off because he plays mind games. We do know Floyd does play those games with the media and whatnot. And now they have to backtrack and switch up. Like, oh, I guess the surprise was really a surprise that we all wanted.
And like I just said earlier, Ego, you just said those people, they were saying it's not going to be against Pacquiao. It's going to be against some bum. It's going to be against Khan, so on and so forth. Which, see, now I'm thinking about the Khan situation because now he's fighting Pacquiao. Some people saying he's ducking Khan. But the point that I'm making is the people who said it's not going to be Pacquiao, those are the people who had no celebration May 2nd. Once the announcement hit, you would have expected those fans to be happier than, the other fans. You know what I mean? The Mayweather supporters or just the Sweet Science fans. And one more thing, I want to give shots out to my man Wingy Boxing. Check his channel out too. He drops science and he's a great writer. He wrote a great article, a real good article about what we're talking about right now, the excuses that are pouring in right now. Check that article out on nationboxing.com. So, we're going to see, man.
To the UK.
Yeah, all day. Okay, all day. And, it's funny because when it comes to the UK, the top countries that watch my channel, I believe UK is number 3. So yeah, big shots out to UK. We getting it in, y'all.
What's number 2? I'm curious. What's number 2 for you?
Number 2, you're not gonna believe it, dog. It's the Philippines.
The Philippines?
It's the Philippines. They loving me in the damn Philippines. It's like I said, man. What they say, I always say this. What they post on YouTube and all that, they don't really mean that shit. That's why they keep coming back and listening to Boxing Ego, Dante's Boxing Nation, AK, and everybody else. So that.
Shout out to Manila.
Yeah, and then I got Emirates. What is it again? United Emirates. Oh
United
man,
Arab Emirates.
They repping out there big time. 3 o'clock in the morning on some straight DBN. So yeah, man. So but
yeah. I just want to say, man, where they at though?
Where they at though? I thought y'all wanted to see the fight. Where they at though?
Man,
Yeah.
What they say, I got to
that's all I can say. And I want to say, happy birthday to both Floyd Mayweather and Adrian Broner.
There you go. That's right. Today is his boy's birthday.
birthday.
Is today Broner's birthday too, or what?
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it though, right?
Yeah.
He's the closest thing to Mayweather, so it's practically like his birthday.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, man, it ain't gonna feel like a lot of fans' birthday May 2nd. I'm telling you that right now. But the real fans is gonna feel like a birthday gift. So we gonna go ahead and wrap it up, guys. We had a great show. Wish we could have talked more about this, but it is what it is, man. We will see you guys next week, Tuesday, 4:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, alltalkradio.net. Say what's going down. Let the fans know what's going down, my man Norman Radical.
The shortest distance between any 2 points is a straight line. On May 2nd, you're going to see a lot of straight lines.
Yes, sir.
Truth is always consistent.
Yes, sir. And for my man Boxing Ego, my man a.k.a. Rap King, I'm your boy Dante's Boxing Nation. We'll see you guys next week, same time. I'm on to the next one, y'all.
Boombaye.